Today we're sharing a Christmas DIY compilation filled with easy Christmas crafts, budget-friendly Christmas decorations, and DIY holiday home decor ideas. Welcome to the Chic Show. The side of this wood round from Dollar Tree is white. The back side is a wood color, so I'm going to leave the white side as it is, and I'm going to be using some of IOD's products. I'm using the Winter Forest stamps from the 2024 Christmas release, and I'm going to be using 3 of those. And the ones that you want to show up in the front, you actually put down first. So I'm using 2 different colors of green ink, and I'm going to be stamping those onto my wood round. Once I have those inked up, I'm going to place that down onto my wood round and press gently. When I think I have it complete, I'm going to pull straight up. The third tree I'm going to use will actually be in the back, or look like it's in the back. So I'm using these masks that also come with the stamps, and I'm going to place them on top of these 2 trees. And then when I stamp the last tree, it will look like it's behind these 2.
Making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping...
Now, if I were just leaving this with trees, I wouldn't have been very happy with the way this third one stamped, but the bottom part of that is actually going to be covered up by this transfer from last year's IOD Candy Cane Cottage transfer book. As of now, I left this side of the wood round just as it is, but I feel like it's missing something. Let me know down in the comments what you think I should add to this.
Making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping...
Everything has 2 sides, so let's flip it over for side number 2. I'm going to give this side a coat of fusion paint in Carriage House. It's a beautiful green color. I couldn't wait to use this wreath from this year's Yuletide Rub-On Transfer book. So I cut it out and I added it to the middle of this wood round, and it's pretty small, but we're going to fix that in just a minute with some molds. Once I have that transfer adhered, I'm going to get out my IOD air dry clay and the Trimmings 1 mold. And I'm adding my clay to the mold. I'm going to be needing 3 of these, so I'll have to do this 3 times, plus about 1/4 of one for the very end. Each time I remove one of these molds, I'm going to add it onto the round so I can see exactly how I want it to fit. And as I said, I used 3 of these molds plus about 1/4 of another one just to make it fit onto the wood round. Once I have it placed like I want it, I'm going to be using some wood glue on the back of this while it's wet so that it will dry in this circle shape.
Making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping...
Also, while the clay is still wet, I'm going to gently give it a coat of that same fusion paint in Carriage House. And this is difficult to get all into these nooks and crannies, so I used several different brushes in order to do that. Now that it's the next day, I'm going back with a little bit of clear wax, and I'm going to be rubbing that onto the entire piece.
Making our Christmas memories. I've been working working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around.
Using a chip brush and gold rub and buff, I'm going to be dry brushing along the top of the mold wreath. I did randomly add some of this gold rub and buff in various places all over the wood round as well, and then I went back with a wipe, and since we placed that clear wax on there, this gold will wipe back a little bit. I love the addition of the gold rub and buff to this. Let me know what you think. All that's left is to add a hanger that will work with both sides.
Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping.
I would love to know which side is your favorite, 1 or 2. I'm using that same cinnamon colored paint to paint the snowman and the same white paint pen to add some detail. I decided to add some puffy paint to the edges and then add a little bit of faux snow as well. I did let this dry overnight before I put the pieces together. I decided to go ahead and give him some eyes and a mouth on all 4 sides with that white paint pen. And here's a final look at our snowman all completed. Using some jumbo popsicle sticks and my miter shears, I'm cutting one end straight and the other one I'm making into a point. So I'm going to need a total of 5 of these. Now I'm going to paint all 5 of these arrows plus a dowel rod and a square wood base piece in that cinnamon paint. I'm using my white paint pen to kind of give myself a guide of where I want my faux icing to go. I'm going to be using caulk for the icing. Once I have iced all of my arrows, I'm going to add some tiny candy pieces from Hobby Lobby. These are back in the jewelry section. And I also have some little tiny sprinkles that I made with clay. I did let these dry overnight before adding my words to the signs. I cut these words out using my Cricut Joy, but you could use stickers from Dollar Tree or even that white paint pen. Now I will use hot glue to connect the signs to the dowel rod. I also drilled a hole in the base to put the dowel rod. I did secure it with a little bit of hot glue as well. And here's a look at it along with my gingerbread log cabin that I did in my last gingerbread video. It's going to be a lot like the sign. We're going to be using that caulk as our icing, but we are adding some colors to it to make chocolate and vanilla. Mixing a bit of antique white paint with the caulk and burnt umber to make those colors. Now, just like real candy spoons, we're simply going to add some icing or candy to the bottoms of the spoon and then embellish it with some sprinkles. These are the same sprinkles that I used for the sign. I did use some tweezers to kind of push the sprinkles down into the icing. Same concept here, except we're going to use a handle from a foam brush and paint it brown. For the handles of the rolling pin, I'm using these little wooden Christmas trees from Dollar Tree. I'm using antique green to paint these. Before gluing the handles onto the rolling pin, I am using some more of that white caulk to make an icing area around one end of the rolling pin, and again we're going to add some sprinkles. Now we're going to hot glue those little handles onto the end of the rolling pin. I picked up a set of these Christmas trays from a thrift store, and I decided to use one of them and paint the inside white. I am going to leave the outside as it is. I'm using DIY paint for this, and it did take about 3 coats. Then I used my Silhouette Cameo to cut out wine and cookies, and I placed that onto the tray. Now to add those spoons and that rolling pin. With some hot glue, I'm simply going to glue the spoons to the front of the tray, and then we'll add our rolling pin in just a minute. I think this is an adorable little sign. I would just like to remind you to hit that thumbs up button if you've seen anything you like today, and feel free to subscribe. I certainly would appreciate it. Mistletoe was from Target Dollar Spot for $3. I used some of these mini lights, they're battery operated, and just wound them throughout the mistletoe. Once I got back down to the stem, I wrapped them around the stem, and then I hid the battery pack behind. These are all wood cutouts from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be giving them a coat of paint, I believe in cinnamon. Now I'm going to give our faux cookie some detail with a white paint pen. Now I'm going to do the same with this Merry Christmas banner from Dollar Tree. Now I'm using a Dollar Tree wreath form and greenery from Dollar Tree to add some color. I'm simply twisting the greenery around the wreath form. Now I am going back with some floral wire and wiring the top of the greenery to the form. A little bit of hot glue is all it takes to attach these faux cookies to the wreath. I did have to flip it over to make sure that they were attached and add a little bit more glue each time. And I did need to hold them in place for a few minutes while the glue set. I got this idea off of Pinterest, and I think it's very similar to the one I saw there. Using some jumbo popsicle sticks and my miter shears, I'm cutting one end straight and the other one I'm making into a point. So I'm going to need a total of 5 of these. Now I'm going to paint all 5 of these arrows plus a dowel rod and a square wood base piece in that cinnamon paint. I'm using my white paint pen to kind of give myself a guide of where I want my faux icing to go. I'm going to be using caulk for the icing. Once I have iced all of my arrows, I'm going to add some tiny candy pieces from Hobby Lobby. These are back in the jewelry section. And I also have some little tiny sprinkles that I made with clay. I did let these dry overnight before adding my words to the signs. I cut these words out using my Cricut Joy, but you could use stickers from Dollar Tree or even that white paint pen. Now I will use hot glue to connect the signs to the dowel rod. I also drilled a hole in the base to put the dowel rod. I did secure it with a little bit of hot glue as well. And here's a look at it along with my gingerbread log cabin that I did in my last gingerbread video. From Hobby Lobby, but the smaller one I simply added some gold to the antlers and it gave it an updated look. For these 3 reindeer, I simply gave him a coat of spray paint. The brown one I did use a textured chalk paint. And for these 3 nutcrackers you see on the right, I did give them a coat of spray paint. They are from Dollar Tree and they're plastic. The one on the left is from the Dollar Tree Plus section. It is wood and I did stain it. These 2 are from Dollar General. These 2 are from a thrift store. And then I'm also using some plastic bells from Dollar Tree. I took them outside and gave them a coat of my favorite gold leaf spray paint. Now that all the bells are the same color, I'm going to mix a tablespoon of baking soda in with some Waverly ink chalk paint. I'm giving each of the bells 1 to 2 coats as needed. Once the bells had dried, I'm using some rub and buff in antique brass, I believe it is, and I'm just going to use that with a paper towel and rub it on all over the black paint, leaving some of the black paint to show. This will give it a vintage look. Here's what they look like when they're all completed. You can't even tell which ones are plastic and which are metal. I used one of each of these bells and tied it to the top of my Christmas tree. Probably seen these shaped containers at Dollar Tree. They have Christmas trees and bells and stars. I got the bells and I took them outside and gave them a coat of gold leaf spray paint, tied some ribbon on them, and just simply put them in a bowl. You could also use them as ornaments or hang them from a wreath. A local store, and I loved the chippy look of it, but I didn't like the color. So I spray painted it gold and then painted the top black. Already had this wreath from Hobby Lobby, and the bells were on a stem in the Christmas department at Hobby Lobby, and then the ribbon is from Dollar Tree. I removed 3 of the bells from the stem and used some black twine from Dollar Tree to tie onto the bells, and then I hung them from the wreath. Once I have the bells placed on the wreath, I use the black ribbon and make a simple bow. I actually have 2 of these in my family room. I'm using the same bell picks from Hobby Lobby. I'm simply untwisting 3 of the bells from the stem, and then I'm going to twist them together and add them to my stocking. The white stocking is actually from Target Dollar Spot a year or so ago, and I added one of the floor mops from Dollar Tree to the top to make the cuff. From Walmart. I think it had 4 clips of mistletoe, and I took one of them, took it outside, and gave it a coat of metallic gold spray paint. And it didn't cover completely, but I love the way it looks. So now I'm just going to add a gold bow, and that's it. Has a very elegant look to it. DIY. I got this gold reindeer at Target, but it was a little too bright gold for me. So I used some antiquing wax and brushed it all over the reindeer and then wiped it back with a paper towel. And here you can see how it looks with the antiquing wax and without. It's also super easy and uses this Be Merry tag from Dollar General for $1. I love the black and white design, so I removed the red ribbon and added a white one that I had removed from something else. This is a nice modern Christmas look in my kitchen window. And I bought 2 sets for a total of 6 mirrors. I made a paper pattern to cover the glass before using my favorite gold leaf spray paint to paint the frames. After they had a chance to dry, I maneuvered the ornament hooks to glue inside the hanger on the back so that they could hang from my tree. I did this to all 6 mirrors. I love this addition to my tree. This is a definite recommendation for you to try. The frame is from Dollar Tree and the greenery that I'm using is from Dollar General. I removed the 2 glass pieces and set one aside. I used stickers I had on hand to spell out the word Merry, but I didn't even have all the right letters, so I pieced together a few different pieces to make my Y and my E. Sometimes it's all about making do and using what you have. I started with placing the middle letters first so that I could be sure the word was centered in the frame. Once all the letters were pieced together, I replaced both pieces of the glass. I chose to embellish the frame with some mistletoe from Dollar General. A scrap floral stem and duct taped it to the back of this mirror. I didn't even use glue. I then stuck it down into my tree, making for a striking star-like topper for $1. This is from the wood pile at Hobby Lobby. It was $5.99, but I did get it 40% off. I'm going to give it a coat of Waverly chalk paint in ink. I painted around all the edges first, then I painted the front part of the reindeer and then went back with a smaller brush to do the nooks and crannies. Now I'm using some of Hobby Lobby's paper flowers from the wedding section that I did get on sale, and I'm adding those to the top of the reindeer. This gold vine is also from the wedding section at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to use it to curl all around the antlers. Here's a look at it hanging between my windows in our family room. I'm painting the metal part here, but it's not necessary to do so. As part of today's playlist, we do have a giveaway, so keep watching and comment the secret word when you hear it. Once I got this one coated with the white paint, I decided to change it, so I'm changing it to this blue paint by Waverly, and I can't remember the name of it, but it is the lighter, newer blue. The second paintbrush will get a coat of red paint, and this will be our Santa Claus gnome. It does take 2 coats for each one of these brushes. I painted the third paintbrush with the green paint. For the noses, I'm using some of these half beads, and I'm using Waverly Pumpkin and Waverly Ballet Slipper to paint one of each, and then one I'm leaving the natural wood color. I mentioned earlier that there is a giveaway today, and the secret word is elf. So if you would like a chance to win, please comment the word elf in the comments below. While the nose is dry, I'm going to embellish the paintbrushes. The red one will get bigger white polka dots, and the blue brush will get smaller white polka dots. The green one will stay as is. Now I'm going to add a brim to each of the gnome hats. This is a pair of plaid pajamas that I got at a thrift store, and I'm just going to be cutting part of the collar and glue it around the green paintbrush. Now I'm going to glue on the half bead that I did not paint. Cute little elf gnome. I decided the elf needed a little bit more embellishment, so I'm using these pieces that I cut off of a tumbling tower block in a triangle shape, and we're going to glue those onto the side of the elf hat as his ears. Now he's the perfect little elf gnome. The Santa gnome will get the pink nose. His hat will be made out of some of the fur ribbon from Walmart. I'm using some of this wired black ribbon from Walmart for the Snowman gnome's hat. I'm going to give it a few folds to make each part of the hat after I glue on his orange nose. Now I'm using some silver string to tie on for hangers for the ornaments, and then I'll add a couple of more embellishments to the top of each one. Santa gets a white pom-pom. The snowman gets a snowflake. And the elf gets greenery and red berries. Quick, easy, and affordable decorations for your tree. If you liked these projects, click like. If you want to see future projects, click subscribe. And if you want to be notified when there's a new video, click that bell. You can also... I've seen these all over the internet lately, so I had to try it. I'm using some extra glass bulbs, but you could totally use plastic from Dollar Tree or wherever. These are just some that I wasn't using on my tree. So I'm using 3 different shades of Waverly chalk paint, ink, cashew, and sandstone, and I'm going to be mixing in some baking soda with each of these colors to give it a more textured look. You think it's not going to mix up, but eventually it does, so just keep stirring.
This year I'll just pretend maybe one day you will spend the holiday with me.
Most of the ornaments that I painted, I only needed to do 1 coat and then a couple of touch-ups. But there was one, the sandstone paint was newer and wasn't quite as thick, and it did take several coats to coat the ornament for that one. Here you can see the paint is not nearly as thick, so I did add more baking soda, but I still had to give it several coats of paint. I put them on skewers to dry, and that also helped with going back to touch-up spots.
All the spaces in between for your face and every...
I put them on skewers to dry, and that also helped with going back to touch-up spots.
All the spaces in between. This year I'll just pretend.
I did spray paint all of the toppers gold. You can see here there is one extra ornament that I experimented with and just added different colors to, and I think it turned out really nice as well. I think these almost have a velvety look. Here's a couple of ways that I styled them. They look really pretty on the tree, but they also look nice as a bowl filler. I'm rolling out my conditioned air dry clay so that I can cut it out using this round tin can. Once I have it about the right size, I'm going to be using this thrifted doily that I found that's crocheted, and I'm going to roll across the top of it so that it will put the imprint into the clay. Then I'm going to use my makeshift cutter here, and I'm going to cut through the clay to make an ornament. Then I'll use a straw to make a hole at the top. I'm then going to continue this process with different doilies and in different positions on the clay to get a different look for each one. For this one, I'm just going to put the imprint of the circle that I'll be cutting out because I'm going to be using these stamps, and I'm going to stamp in the word joy. I repeated this process for this last one, and I centered the middle of the doily, which looks like a flower, into the center of the ornament. Now we'll set these aside to dry overnight. Now I'm using some of this gold paint, and I'm just going to dry brush around the entire ornament, including the edges. Each one will look a little different because of the different texture. I also thrifted a couple of silk blouses, one in gold and one in red, and I cut strips of the silk to make ties for each of the ornaments. I was trying to decide, do I like the gold better or do I like the red? But ultimately I decided on the red. So let me know what you think about these ornaments using the imprints of thrifted crocheted doilies. You can use any thrifted book for this project. I trimmed off the edges that didn't have words because I just want the tags to be the part that has the most typography. Once I got them to the size that I wanted them, I used my decorative scissors and just trimmed around each of the edges. I used a hole punch to punch a hole at the top so that I could use it to hang it onto a gift. Now I'm going to be using various rubber stamps to stamp onto the tags. Most of these stamps were thrifted as well. I'm using a variety of materials to attach to the top of the tags to hang on a gift. This is a unique way to add some personality to each of your gifts. Thanks for watching this Christmas DIY compilation. If you enjoyed these DIY Christmas decorations, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Comment below which Christmas DIY was your favorite. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.